We are in front of my $50,000 valued vintage collection. I'm kidding. I actually don't know what it's valued at. I think it's around 40K. It's been like a year or so since I valued it. But you guys, today in today's video, we will be looking at all of my horror tees, almost all vintage horror tees. We're on the new cam. I'm so stoked to do this. I'm gonna give you guys some info about each tee. I'm gonna try to tell you guys what I paid for it, what I value it at, like a little bit about the tee, about the series, maybe what it means to me. This is kind of like the start of a collection style video. I've done like my top 10 tees before in the past, but I really do want to dive like deeper into my vintage collection and go into like some of the history behind the tees, the values of the tees, stuff like that. So as you guys can see, we have an entire collection right here, and it is valued pretty high. These are all pretty rare tees that I paid up for, pretty valuable tees in my collection. So let me know in the comments if you guys would like me, still getting used to this camera, so let me know in the comments if you guys want to see more collection style videos. But let's dive into all of my vintage horror tees. Well, all my horror tees. Let's go. All right, here is the stack of all the tees we'll be going through. They're kind of in an order, but make sure to stick around for the full video so you guys can see all of them. And again, in the comments section, let me know what your favorite tee is in this video, and let me know if you want me to do more collection videos like this. Let's start it off with this Saw 1 promo tee. This is a size XL on a Hanes heavyweight tag, as you guys can see right there. I actually thrifted this one, or got it at a vintage shop in Oregon. I think I actually got this one in around 2017, maybe 2018, but I got this at a vintage store in Portland, Oregon called Red Light, and I actually paid like $17 for it, which is a really good deal because I'm pretty sure this is upwards of $100 tee now. And yeah, I love the Saw movies, love the Saw franchise. The next tee I'm going to show you guys is a crazy Saw tee. This is actually probably my best tee in my whole collection, but like I said, make sure to stick around for the rest of the video. This next tee I'm going to show you guys is absolutely crazy. Size XL on the Gildan heavyweight cotton tag. We have the Big Face Billy Saw 2 promo tee. This one is absolutely crazy. It's actually licensed and dated 2004, which is kind of interesting because Saw 2 didn't come out until 2005. But this is probably the horror tee in my collection that people want the most from me. I constantly am getting asked to sell it. I had an offer in the past for, I think, like $700. Mind it, that was like peak COVID. That was peak like quarantine prices. I don't think anyone in their right mind would spend that much on this tee now. But like if I were to give it a price, I'd say it's at least probably around like a $300-ish tee. Like I said, mine is not for sale. I constantly get offers to sell it, but the graphic is just insane. Like the big face Billy on it, the small back hits, super iconic tee. And weirdly enough, I haven't seen a lot of this graphic for sale, like ever. I've only seen maybe one or two ever pop up again. I actually had a couple people ask me like if it's a bootleg or if it's official recently. This is probably one of my like rarest horror tees in my collection, which is kind of weird because it's just like a 2005 Saw promo tee, but you don't see this one a lot. If you guys like the Saw movies, let me know what your favorite trap is. I think that the needle pit from this Saw movie is one of the craziest Saw traps, just because I could never imagine having to dive into that. That's insane. Next up, we have two Blair Witch tees, which is kind of wild because I used to have a lot of Blair Witch tees. I want to say over 10 Blair Witch tees in the collection. So the Blair Witch is my favorite horror movie of all time, and I'll explain in a little bit why. But it's kind of crazy also because besides the Crow tees, which I got into collecting around like 2017, Blair Witch Project tees were, I think, the first like non-music related vintage shirt that I started collecting for. So if you guys didn't know, I started collecting vintage in 2011, and I got really heavy into it like through 2013 through I'd say like 18. I was collecting almost mainly hardcore band tees, which is like this cube, this cube, this cube, this cube, and this cube are all like hardcore band tees, like metal band tees that I don't really wear or talk about much on the channel. So I know I need to do a big collection video. Like this cube is all one band that I used to collect for. So that's how I got into collecting vintage. And then I kind of like moved into, oh, well, I like the Crow, the comic a lot, so I'm going to collect a lot of Crow tees. And like at one point in time, I think I had like 40 of the Crow tees. And then I started collecting some Blair Witch tees and other tees, like, you know, things that I just liked. I really wish I would have got on the anime wave way earlier, because I remember Neon Genesis tees like sitting on eBay for super cheap. Everything on eBay used to be super cheap, you know, if you guys have been collecting like over 10 years. But even though this is a super plain tee, this is probably one of my favorite like horror tees, and it's not as plain as you think it is, because this one is actually a little bit more of a rare one, and it has the website back kit. You can actually find these logo tees like really easily online. They're pretty readily available, and you can always get one for like around $100 or less, which is absolutely insane, because I think I do have some screenshots. I'll try to pop pop them up on the screen right now if I still have them saved, but I used to buy Blair Witch tees for like $5 on eBay. Vintage Blair Witch tees for like $5. They just sat on eBay all the time. A lot of tees I used to get for like $5, $10, $15. And this one specifically, like just the title hit, I think at one point in time I had like 3 or 4 of them because they were just like $5. So I just kept buying them. But this one has the website hit on the back, which I do think is really sick. It's on a silky loop AAA tag, size XL on this one. And the reason why I like this one so much is because I went to an original screening of this film, I think in around 2018, 2019, and they had one of the executive producers of the film there to do a Q&A, and he talked so much about how the website was such a big project for them, and just the marketing for the movie in general was what they really focused on. They really wanted people to think that it was real. They went as far as all of the actors staying out of the media presence for like long after the film dropped. Like, people thought this movie was real when it came out. So that's why it's one of my favorite horror films, because I think that it like shaped and molded like found footage, and I think that it like paved a crazy way for promotion and like marketing in horror movies, and the like authentic feeling of like making something like real, like you think like a movie's real. They just did an insane job with that. And the executive producer talked about how one of his fellow co-workers, I think it was one of the other producers of this movie, had recently gone through a life-altering breakup. His girlfriend broke up with him, and he put all of his time and energy into making the website for the Blair Witch Project, which I just thought was nuts. So finding one with the back hit, the website back hit, brings it home for me. Like, I love this movie. I love this tee. I love all of the lore behind it. I'm like a big Blair Witch fan. I actually have quite a couple copies of it on VHS. I have one sealed that was actually gifted to me. And then this one, we just don't talk about Blair Witch 2. This never happened. That's crazy. That movie never happened. But I'm a big Blair Witch fan. Have a lot of Blair Witch memorabilia and posters and stuff in my house. So this is my favorite horror movie, one of my favorite horror tees. But if we want to upgrade from that one, we do have the Heather iconic shot right there where she's doing her little like video diary, crying to the camera, the snot's coming out of her nose. This is XL on a Toltex tag. This one is absolutely crazy. I think I paid around 200-ish for this tee, and I value it around 300-ish. It's more of a rare one. It's definitely a rare version of just the little title hit with the little picture over here. There are a couple more Blair Witch tees that I had in the past, but these are the two ones that I think have like the most wearability in like my closet. So these ones I decided to keep in the collection. I do have two actually for sale right now, and these ones used to be mine, both size large. This one's a Heather Gray one, and then this one actually has like the Lookout police report on the back with the small little hit on the front. These are both size large, both for sale. You guys can hit me up on Instagram or just go check out my Depop. They're live for sale right now. Moving on, the Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn movie promo. This one is a size large on a Fruit of the Loom tag. There's the tag right there. So Evil Dead 2 is actually a super iconic movie for me because this is one of the first horror films that I think I got like completely obsessed with. I remember my friend and I stayed up late and saw it like on TV or something, or he like brought it over to my house. I forget how we came in contact with it, but I remember watching it on my DVD player in my room off my small little TV when I was in junior high. And like, we definitely were not allowed to watch this movie. We were both like little private school kids, and we definitely like snuck this movie somehow. We're able to watch it, and we both became obsessed with it. This film is a trip. If you've never seen it before, it's absolutely amazing. I love all the Evil Dead movies, but this one is probably my favorite. This one, I'm not entirely sure even when I got it. I for sure got it like years ago, and value wise it's probably around like a $200 to $300-ish tee. And we do have one more Evil Dead related tee, but this is an Army of Darkness tee. Actually, shout out to Gage, my homie Gage, that sold this one to me. It is extremely faded, extremely boxy. We have the front and the back hit right here. It's on a Cygnus tag, double XL. This one is just perfectly faded, perfectly worn, perfectly boxy. I love the fit on this tee. This is the third installment in like the Evil Dead trilogy, like the OG ones, and this one is a riot. It is fun. It is nothing like the first two in my opinion. It still has some like horror elements, but it's like slapsticky. It's very comedy focused. Some of the dialogue is just absolutely insane. So this one is just a really fun time. If you've never seen this movie, definitely go watch this movie. Another favorite in my collection. You just can't beat that wear and fade. We're coming up on some Silent Hill tees. tees. I love this one. We got the Pyramid Head Silent Hill. These are all just like horror related tees, so not all movie tees, some video game based. You know, I really wish I did have a Silent Hill movie promo tee, but most of them are kind of plain and boring. But I love the concept, I love the themes, love the music of the games. So we have the Silent Hill Pyramid Head one, and I got this for such a good deal because I'm not sure how well you guys are gonna be able to tell, but it is littered with holes, and there's actually a hole that sits right where my nipple is. So wearing this tee is kind of impossible unless I wear it with like a tank top or something underneath it. But this is like a $250-ish, $300 tee. Mine is a size XL on an M&O knits tag, and I think I got this for like $70 because of all the wear. I bought it a couple years ago. I want more Silent Hill tees actually. So if you guys have some Silent Hill tees in large XL for a reasonable price, hit me up. This one is actually not vintage, but this is a design that my homie did. I think it was actually in collaboration with someone else, but this is a Silent Hill video game promo tee printed on a 2000s faded blank. So I actually sourced the blank. It's like a Gildan XL. This is the tag, just like a 2000s Gildan tag. But I sourced the blank and I actually faded it in my windowsill for about a year. And then I saw my friend was doing these Silent Hill prints, and I was like, dude, can I send you a shirt and you use my shirt to print? And he was like, for sure. So he hooked it up with this one. The graphic is absolutely insane. I do not think a lot of these were printed. Like I said, this is a completely new age tee. I think this happened like last year that they printed these. So not vintage, but it's printed on like an older blank. I just love the graphic, the design. This one is a Silent Hill 2. This is an online ceramics. So if you guys know online ceramics, they do a lot of collabs with like movies and horror related things, A24 things. They do a lot of collabs with that kind of stuff. And this is a Silent Hill 2 collab that they actually did. And this is really sick because it's the Heaven's Night Gentlemen's Club and the big back hit. I love the back hit. These tees are actually pretty expensive. I got an XL and it fit ginormous on me. It fit like a 3XL. So I ended up buying a large as well. I think I paid around $150 for each of them, and they go around $150 to $200. Some of the dead stock ones and the hoodies and stuff go for like $300+. Retail on these was high in the first place. I think retail was around like $75 when they did drop. I do want more pieces from this collection. I'd really love a hoodie. Not vintage at all, but worth mentioning for sure. And now on to the Ring promo. I love this one. I wish so badly that it was a front hit. It is a back hit. We have the DreamWorks Pictures hit right there, and then this is size XL on a Gildan Ultra Cotton tag, faded tag, but I love this back hit so much. I actually really do like the Americanized version of the Ring, but I am a strong Japanese horror enjoyer. I do really like it. And then it's kind of crazy that in the like early 2000s, mid 2000s, there was just a craze of like remaking a bunch of Japanese horror movies like for an English audience. But this one obviously went crazy, iconic. I remember when I was in elementary school, this movie came out, and like all my classmates and I could talk about was like if it was real and like if it could kill you. So super iconic to like grow up in a time when this movie came out when I was a kid, and I was like afraid to watch this movie for the longest time. And this is definitely a more rare like the Ring promo tee. I actually think the Ring promo tees are pretty rare in general. I'm not entirely sure how this one like came about, how you would get it. Maybe a special edition of the DVD. I'm not entirely sure if you guys remember, but when I used to go to Costco with my mom, they would have like DVDs in these packs that would come with shirts. And I feel like that's a lot of where these shirts came from, were like DVD promos for the shirts. This is one that I actually thrifted. Crazy Pinhead Hellraiser promo. I think this one's from 2007, 2006 on this Hellraiser. No tag, but I think it came on the Blue Bar Anvil or maybe an M&O knit tag. I forget what tag this one actually came on, but I thrifted this one at the bins at the Goodwill outlet. Front and back hit. I decided to keep it because it matches super well with my pants. As you guys can see, these are the Supreme Hellraiser skate pants. These are actually pretty rare and like really expensive to find now, but I bought these back when they dropped. I want to say like 2017 is when these dropped from Supreme. Wearing these together is a crazy fit, so I have to keep this one in the collection for a bit longer. We actually do have two anime tees in this video, which is kind of crazy. Horror anime tees I feel like are pretty hard to come by. If you guys like this type of content, make sure to drop a like. I know I'm kind of ranting and rambling about some of these tees, but I have really good memories connected with a lot of these movies, which is why I wanted to make this video. I do want to make more like informative content and kind of the background of shirts, why I love them and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys are vibing with that, and hopefully you guys are vibing with the quality upgrade too. I'm so hyped on the new camera. This is actually one that probably goes back longer than any of these other tees for me in terms of like my connection with a movie on a tee. This is a size large Screen Stars. So amazing tag right there, large Screen Stars. This is a Blood, the Last Vampire anime movie promo tee. It's kind of crazy that I saw this movie as as young as I did. I want to say I was around 9, maybe even younger when I saw this movie. My mom used to have a coworker that once he found out I was into anime, like Naruto and stuff like that, he would send my mom home with anime movies or like series for me to watch. And let me just tell you right now, not all of them were kid appropriate. Probably none of them were kid appropriate. And I remember he sent her home with this one. And yeah, this is definitely not a child appropriate movie. Me seeing this at 9 kind of went crazy, but it is one of my favorite like standalone, like shorter anime horror films. I think it's only like 50 minutes. It's like under an hour for sure. The Screen Stars graphic is crazy. Big Screen Stars graphic, dated 2000. The random like little no rule, no limit hit. Kind of random that they put that on there, but yeah, Blood the Last Vampire. Also turned it into a show. They have Blood Plus, they have Blood C. There's a manga of it, and yeah, I just love this one. Saw it when I was really young, so it connects with me. This definitely started a lot of my interest in horror, and especially fueled my interest in anime. Moving on to the next one. This is more of a newer one, but the Double XL B&C tag. This is a High School of the Dead promo. I love this anime. It's very fan servicey. There's a lot of jiggling in this anime, if you know what I mean. And this is definitely like a rarer promo for it. I think I've seen a couple of them sell. They're always above the $100 mark. I think closer to the $200 mark. I think I got this in an auction a couple years ago on like Instagram Live, and I think I paid around like $100 for it. If you guys want a kind of gory, horror related, fan servicey, fun anime, definitely check that one out. We have a Candyman promo. Very sadly, this one is like dry rot, so I don't wear this one that much. It's not like easily rippable, but it can rip. If you guys don't know what dry rot is, just it's a topic for a different video. But basically this shirt is like not entirely wearable. But we have the Candyman, Candyman, Candyman. Dare you to say it again. You guys know the urban legend with Candyman, and this movie is incredible. I love this movie. It's honestly like a sleeper. The more I watch this as I get older, the more I really like it. The story is absolutely crazy, and I think they did a pretty good job with the remake as well. If you guys haven't seen Candyman, I think it's one that's not talked about as much. This one's single stitch all the way around. I value it around like $200-ish. I think one's for sale right now for like $250. Couple more teas. I wanted to include this one, even though it's not entirely horror. We have the size XL on the Fruit of the Loom tag. We have the single stitched all the way around 90s, the Twilight Zone promo. This show used to scare me so much when I was a kid. I had a friend and we would watch the Twilight Zone super late at night on his like family TV, and dude, some episodes scared me so much. I remember specifically there's an episode of the Twilight Zone where they think they like crash on another planet, but they end up just being in the desert, and they all kind of like go ham on each other, and like the ending of the episode when it pans out and shows they're just like in New Mexico or something blew my mind. Like this show absolutely stands the test of time. If you guys are younger, if you've never heard of the Twilight Zone, never seen it, it holds up immensely. Go watch the Twilight Zone. This graphic is pretty rare. I feel like I haven't seen this graphic pop up like at all. We have the "To Serve Man" hit down there. Really cool little detail. We have the little doll right there. I think I'd value this one for sure around like $150, maybe $2. I think the Twilight Zone tees aren't like super in demand, popular, or like hold that much value, but this is a really unique graphic that I really, really love. I need to wear this one actually. I've had this one for a couple years, haven't worn it. Spoiler alert, haven't worn a lot of the tees in my collection, which is crazy, but I'll get around to it. I'll get around to it, I promise. We have another one that I haven't worn, the Stanley DeSantis XL in the under tag. Can we just give some appreciation for Stanley DeSantis tags? They are absolutely amazing. I love Stanley DeSantis tags. We have my only X-Files tee. I used to have a couple X-Files tees. This is the only one that's stayed in the collection. This one's dated 1994, single stitched on the sleeve, double on the bottom. I think the reason why I kept this graphic is because I love the green around like the logo, around this like little graphic right here. Kind of kept this one mainly for like the colors. It's the one that kind of like stands out the most to me. I just really like this design. I think this is around like $150-ish tee, maybe less, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, that brings us to our last tee, which is the most modern tee out of all of these, I think. This is an online ceramics screen printed tag, A24, size medium. Shout out to my friend Kat. My friend Kat actually gifted this to me, so shout out to her. Thank Thank you so much, my friend. This is a Hereditary promo tee. Hereditary, I think, is the best horror film that's come out in the past like 15 years. It is amazing. If you've not seen Hereditary, you are absolutely snoozing. You are sleeping. You are asleep at the wheel. This graphic is absolutely nuts. Full front and back print. Fits me a little bit snugger because it is a medium, but I'm keeping this one forever. Kind of rare because they all sold out, and Hereditary is like a fan favorite within the horror community, I feel like. But this is the last tee in my horror tee collection, my almost all vintage horror tee collection. Hopefully you guys like that. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Jackson and I do thrifting, vintage, Depop types of videos. I'm trying to expand the content since we did get a new camera, but I've been going hard at this YouTube content for the past couple of years. I really appreciate you guys subscribing and liking the video. Let me know in the comments what your favorite tee is. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, check out my Depop, follow me over on Twitch. I do live streams weekly, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, you guys.